on the flip side, just to give to bear witness, but also to give balance of what you just said. Coming up in school, I was not like that. I was just straight A's.
Yeah.
It's not hard for me to ace the test. It's I just had a couple of Indian guys who used to discuss maths. Like, we're just like it's that, and they're trying to beat me.
Yeah.
And then some Africans came and they was up there with me. Like, I just know it was school wasn't hard, and this was going on until about third year high school. My parents had kind of groomed me a certain way, so my diction is fine. I don't really have any of that stuff till I got to high school and started to see. Hold on, so there is a couple of brothers that kind of I felt a certain affinity for, and once I started to hang with them, I still remember to this day the headmistress came and went, if you keep moving with these particular people, your grades are gonna fall. I was like, well, it's the same work. Just telling you, like, other people won't tell you, but if we see you with them, your grades are gonna fall. And once I started to find myself, like, the best way of saying it, I'm sort of like trained as an Uncle Tom. That's really that was the planning. I believe. And I was good at it. I was good at it. Up until about the third year, that's top stuff. Like, they bring people to the school. This stuff's just being real. They bring people to the school, and then they'd be like, "Oh, let's go to Justin's English class. Get to my English class, and could you spell totalitarianism for me and give the meaning?" And I'd be, it's a form of government that. And the other brothers was like, "Oh, Negro, what the hell is wrong?" Then I was like, "Oh, we don't do this?" They're like, "No, we don't do this." So from then, it started to tank.
Absolutely.
University again. When I was at university, I started to write from a black perspective in terms of critiquing cases. And I remember getting called in by a Caucasian lady, and she said, "You can get a first-class degree. Your stuff is tough. You can get a first-class degree. This is Middlesex University." And she said, "But you won't get it if you keep writing from a black perspective." I'm saying to her, "But my eyes are in a black head. I don't know how to write. What other perspective can I write?"
A European mindset.
Right. So as we're getting into it's in whether you are an entrepreneur, or whether you are a trained Uncle Tom, it really don't make no difference. They have an outcome, and they don't break from that outcome for nothing. So I just want to bear witness to that point. Kate, as the professor in this, who has done more in actual putting feet on the ground, how do the schools prepare us, or do they prepare us for the lives we're about to face? And I know you really did start off with your whole thing about no, they don't, but if you just like to explain some of how the state schools just don't.
I'm going to look at it starting with the size of state schools. They're far too large to be able to reach all of the children that they need to reach. So you will have the cruisers. The cruisers are those who don't, ruffle any feathers. They come in, and teachers, by and large, won't notice the cruisers because they're busy with the pesky ones. And I've been there myself. The children will stand out because they're either the ones who will always get, in trouble, or those the bright ones who are going to put the school on the map, the league table. The others, the cruisers, they're there just as background and to make up numbers. I know that bums on seats equals revenue, but what is happening with my dissatisfaction and why I walked away from the state system and why I must add this, that the ban was actually a waste of ink because I was out of their schools anyway. I have no intention of going back. Is that they don't prepare children for real life, and you can't have everyone going. Particularly with Gove's baccalaureate. If everybody's doing the same thing, then where are the jobs to support at the end of it? I don't consider the person who repairs my washing machine any less important than my doctor.
Absolutely.
And so it's reaching each child's potential. That's right. Yeah, each child's potential. And recognizing what they can do, but you need to have smaller numbers. With the best will in the world, you can't have classes of 30, 35 every hour, a different configuration, and expect to be able to churn out to the end of it
It goes into what
satisfactory.
Dean was talking about our children not being sausages.
Yeah,
because
that's right,
it is that kind of
It's a-
thing. The bell
yeah,
rings
that's right.
and it's time for another batch of
That's right,
sausages.
yeah.
Turn them over
That's
on the
right,
vacuum,
yeah.
whatever, and get them out.
It isn't working, and you know, I get extremely frustrated when we have new schools, or even some of our own people are thinking they want their own schools, and they're thinking of these large establishments and thinking, if you keep on doing the same thing, you will get the same results. So why are you doing this? And I advocate small schools.
Yeah.
Because my school offered total wraparound care.
Yes.
Because a lot of children come from homes and communities that are broken for one reason or another, and unless you sort out the emotional well-being, the academics are a complete waste of time. Those children come in with their own baggage.
Yes.
And so, you know, the grounds on which they closed my school, I offered the children too much care and too much education. You know, without any kind of knowledge as to where these children were coming from and why they needed that structure and nurture. And the more criminal is that over a year on, those children still had no form of education, but it's just swept under the carpet.
Absolutely.
I think even with that, I think it comes back to how we perceive education, because a lot of the time, I think you spoke about in terms of the whole Eurocentric thing, it's like, people can, when you say school, you picture a big building, millions and millions of pounds spent, and a lot of, I think, for a lot of people, when you walk into a school and you see that, it gives you the security of, this is a good school, and you walk out, but you have no idea what's going on when the door is where the door is closed.
Really? Because I keep thinking, you see what you just said?
Yeah.
That's exactly what happens. But I think it happens because the people who see that school and go, this is a good school, you just got dumbed down yourself 20 years prior.
Yes.
Right.
So you just got caught on the same hook. Because, like, I came out and having, you know, like, I couldn't be there like, oh yeah, because I got in trouble with blah blah. No, not really. I was cool. I didn't really go back from the 4th year till it was time for GCSEs. Popped in for 2 weeks and got all of my passes. Not a problem. Like I said, I put effort in the 4th. They weren't a biggie. But then what I'm noticing is, if we've already lost that whole critical thinking thing, we can't tell what we're looking at.
Absolutely.
Because I've looked, sorry David, I'm bringing you straight in, but I'm because of what I saw, and when I went to Middlesex University, it was a law degree I was doing, and she said you can get a first class degree as long as you stop writing from a black perspective. Then I'm like, I don't even see how I could want to be back here. And I'm saying, if that's what it takes, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to leave so my children don't have to do that. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm not asking my children to go anywhere, but you got to forget. And I thought at the time, you got to forget your blackness if you're doing law for possibly 6 years. Now that would make sense why it's so difficult for us to retain black orientated lawyers. And I've been to court, especially around the education thing, with some black lawyers that they quake in their boots and not even in the court, at the school with the governors. They ain't got no strength. But because we haven't been trained that way. Sorry, David, go ahead.
No, I hear that. It was just on the point that you were making, the point of what is education. I was reading it today. A particular poet, English poet, actually, what's his name? Blake. I forgot his name. William Blake. He said that the true method of knowledge is experience. And I thought about it, so that makes a lot of sense. We define education or knowledge as just acquiring bits of data. And you think you've got now an education. Well, education is what you're doing. You're doing something with it. That's now you received an education. And I remember reading and hearing about old-time schools, in a sense, those environments where the middle class and upper class went to, and the type of educators they had. They would have someone who just climbed Mount Everest coming in the class, or a soldier who's talking about their life experience in the education. They're real people, so that's what they're paying for. Real people coming. And there was one lecturer I was told who he didn't have a chair. He had like a little lounge. What's it? A lounge chair where you lay in the class. Now, like, yeah, that's what. But that was standard. Just I'm being me in the class.
But if you go back in time, when Aristotle and the boys are doing their work, we just walk under trees, sit in the park, reason on what's going on. And so take this and really like allowing people's minds to work. And I think with homeschooling, it's one of the things. No, sorry, I'll let you go.
Yeah, but that's that. But that can work if you're around a substantial person.
Absolutely.
So what I'm seeing my last few years in the school world was because they're now the good teachers are leaving. They can't take it no more, so they're rushing in people. So the standard of teacher has gone down. What we call teacher today is a generalization, but a lot of it, what we call teacher today, we got to revise it now because the people, the low character of persons now. Because we think
you just reminded me of a school which should be nameless. I was doing a short stint at about 3 years ago, and I was asked by the head to teach GCSE science. I said, "But I've never taught science. My subjects are actually English and PE." And he said, "Well, download the stuff from the internet. The children don't know that you don't know, so you'll be okay." And I thought, this is crazy.
Yeah.
You know, I couldn't even bluff my way through it. No interest in it whatsoever. So.
Integrity.
But it happens, you know. You go into the school and I've spoke with other members of staff who were struggling through subjects they never taught. They just expected you to just download the stuff off the internet and go in and teach it.
And the thing is, part of it,
the caliber of new teachers, Mr. I just qualified and worked out the job.
I think it's quite solid. No, but to be honest, like I said, I've come across teachers who, you know, sometimes slow with their times tables and that, and you're teaching maths. So it is like that. I think a lot of it, I think we've got to come up to the break now, but a part of it is also finance. Because schools would rather have lots and lots of NQTs in to keep the bills low. And from being in the school, this is what I've actually started to see, even in taking in special needs children who they can't cater for, but it pays.
Wow.
So school is actually a business now.
You take a special needs child and you just put them in the back of the class, keep the money, and all is good. Alright, we're going to continue this after we take the voice for the causes of Amiga FM. Keep it locked. This is a big show. I'm enjoying myself. See you back on the other side. Thank you very much.
Amiga Radio 104.1 FM. News and views around your community.